Californians, be warned. There are violent protests planned throughout this weekend in cities across the state. Coming up, we have a list of the locations, who's behind them, who's funding them, and what we're doing to fight back to restore law and order. I'm Carl DeMaio, chairman of Reform California and a California state representative. And all week we've been covering the violent protests in the state of California that have been fueled by incendiary rhetoric from Governor Gavin Newsom, Democrat politicians, liberal media outlets, and activist groups. And yes, we have proven that the groups behind these protests are funded with state and local taxpayer funds. We've been sharing those financial receipts all week. Check out our previous podcasts on that. But as we head it throughout this weekend, you're going to see protests in your area. And I've got a list of protests throughout the state of California that are being organized so that you can be monitoring them and that you can stay away from them, because I am very concerned about the situation and how on edge everyone is. There are agitators. They like violence. They want confrontation. They don't care about the consequences. They don't care about who gets victimized and hurt. And they are absolutely trying to hurt federal law enforcement who are trying to simply do their job. Before I get into the list, please be part of our movement. We are trying to take back California from the far left insanity. Unlike the groups, the left-wing groups that we're about to talk about who are behind these protests, these violent protests, Reform California receives no government money. And we don't have any George Soros billionaire backing. We rely on volunteers and small dollar contributions from people like you. So join our movement. Check out our movement first at our website, our campaign headquarters, reformcalifornia.org. Reformcalifornia.org. That is ground zero in the fight to take back California from the left. You'll find all sorts of great news stories up there, basically the news that the liberal media won't tell you about all the problems facing California and how we're trying to provide common sense solutions. You'll also find campaigns that we're running on that site. For voter ID, to protect Prop 13, to recruit and back candidates for office, everything from judge to city council, all the way up to the state legislature and the statewide offices like governor. Please sign up to be part of our growing movement. At the bottom of the website, you can put in your first name, last name, email, phone, and zip code, and then you will be connected to our growing movement statewide. You'll receive updates on things happening in your area. We've got to organize in this state. We have to unite, and this is one way to do it. Also, please put gas in the tank at that website, Reform California. Chip in a contribution. Help us do this great work. So let's just get right into it. The protests that are being planned for this weekend, you're going to see them on TV. Sadly, I will predict, I hope I'm not right about this, but it's going to happen. We're going to see a lot of violence. I would suggest you stay indoors. Now, the polling shows, and I covered this yesterday on the podcast, only a third of Americans are backing the protests, and they're not happy with what's going on. A pretty sizable plurality oppose the protests. So 45% disapprove of these protests, 36% approve. This is a YouGov poll. It's national, but I think you're going to find similar numbers here locally. This weekend, a group called, well, it's not even a group, because remember, the left has a network of NGOs that mainly are funded by government money from Democrat politicians who give out contracts and grants. And we've been covering this scam for a long time. We have something at Reform California we call Follow the Money. These are investigations that we conduct, and we look at where these money flows are going. As a state legislator, I've been exposing this in the state budget. But the groups are all branding these protests in each of these cities across the country as the No Kings protest. Trump's birthday is June 14th. He's having a parade, a military parade in Washington, D.C. So the left-wing groups are doing counter protests. Now, notice the contrast here. Trump has American flags and patriotism. He's supporting the U.S. military, Make America First type theme, something that's patriotic and proud. Meanwhile, all the left-wing groups have these misfits who want to smash windows of stores and burn things down. Okay, the contrast could not be better. But again, the left wants chaos, and they know that this is probably going to not, look good to the independent voters out there. But that's not what they're trying to do. They're trying to fire up the base of Democrat voters because they know midterm elections are about the base voter, not the general election in a presidential year, which is the independent voter, someone in the middle. So they need to get their base riled up because they want to take back the House majority. They, in California, want to cling to their supermajority. And so they've got all these protests scheduled. Here is a map. This is from their website. This is the No Kings protest main hub website. And this is where they're saying, here's where the protests are. Go to nokings.org. And you can click on where the protests are. I'm going to zoom in here so that you can see some of this stuff. And this is all happening this weekend. I mean, look at all these dots in Southern California. San Diego, Chula Vista, El Cajon. Let's see up here in LA. Yeah, they're everywhere. Literally, people have a major protest happening within a short drive of their home. For those of you in Central Valley, let's take a look there. Going up here, going up the Grapevine. Oh, look at that. And they're not having as much love in Central Valley. They got one in Bakersfield, Visalia, Hanford, Fresno. So yeah, that's the website. A lot of them concentrated in Southern California, a few of those over there by the coast. Oh, no surprise. Look at the Bay Area. Good God. They're probably holding a protest at every one of their homeless camps. So that's the website. We're talking about almost 100, right? If you count the dots, we're probably looking at hundreds of protests around the state of California. Not a good situation. I would suggest avoiding these areas. Now, I'm not doing that. I'm not taking my own advice because while the left has events, so does Reform California. I mean, it's our job to organize. And so if you go to the website, reformcalifornia.org, or just go to joincarl.org, joincarl.org. This weekend, I'm going to be in Santa Monica at 8:30 on Saturday, Huntington Beach at noon on Saturday, and then 4 o'clock in San Diego. We're going right down the Southern California 5 freeway. Now, I will tell you, we've been doing events up and down the state of California. There's other events that you can join me at coming up. We got a Zoom webinar coming up on the voter ID initiative. But Roseville, Redding, Yuba, Modesto, Fresno, Bakersfield, Santee, Alpine, we are doing these events up and down the state of California to organize our campaign. This is exactly what the left is doing, but our rallies aren't violent. Our rallies are all about voter ID and how people can get involved and run for office and help share the voter guide that we publish every election. Their protests are what can be burned down today. I want to point out that the groups behind this are all funded with left-wing groups are funded with taxpayer money. Here's Axios San Diego. Again, all these liberal media groups. One big thing, Saturday's anti-Trump protest. Now, Axios isn't doing a story on Carl DeMaio and Reform California holding a San Diego rally in favor of voter ID. No. That would be giving us free promotion. Instead, Axios is in the tank for the far left movement. Understand that you have lying liberal media in California doing a lot of the organizing work for the left. Remember, we've had these rallies, and we're going to have several thousand people at these rallies. But we've had to do all that on our own. With your support, when you chip in, contributions at reformcalifornia.org, it helps us text and email and do social digital ads to get people to show up to our events. Well, Axios and the liberal media in California, they love to promote the left and make it really easy for the left. Hey, let's give you a little bit of a promotion here. So they're saying protesters are taking to downtown San Diego as part of a nationwide demonstration amid intensifying immigration raids. These are not immigration raids, by the way. These are federal law enforcement picking up illegal immigrants who are criminals. Let's make sure people understand who are criminals. You have to highlight, circle, bold, underline the fact that these are people who've done bad things other than their immigration status, who are now being detained by federal law enforcement, and rightfully so. We don't want criminals on the street. We want to protect the public. But Axios is part of the lying liberal media. They're out there gaslighting. It's all about immigration. No, it's not. No, it's intensifying efforts to pick up criminals who are out on with warrants for their arrest. Now, they promote on Axios, and I could cover any of the cities this way because you're going to find liberal media outlets promoting these protests in your area. There are 2 San Diego No Kings rallies, one beginning at Civic Center Plaza and the other at the Waterfront Park at 10 a.m. And they go on to tell you about the schedule of event. But look at this. Organizers of an April rally, which drew over 10,000 attendees, are again planning the event, along with 35 local partners, including Democrat groups, labor unions, and environmental organizations. And by the way, when you peel back those local San Diego groups, and I will show you the Transparency Foundation's Follow the Money report, we've got a list of the local San Diego groups that are involved with these protests. Here we are. Follow the Money San Diego. There are 10 groups that got $6.6 million in federal funds, according to this report, federal, state, and local funds. Here they are. They're all involved with this protest this weekend in San Diego. Alliance San Diego, federal, state, and local money. They're getting almost $700,000, according to this report. And the guy that, by the way, these are numbers from 2 years ago. The numbers are even worse today. CPI, Environmental Health Coalition, Mid-City Community Action Network. Look at all the groups. Getting the Climate Action Campaign. They will all be promoting these left-wing protests. And again, they're funded with taxpayer money. And of course, we talk about labor unions in the Democrat Party. Labor unions are inherently funded with government money because of project labor agreements, union dues, taxpayer funds paid to government employees, and what comes out of their paycheck for political activities. Now, the No Kings rallies are also nationwide being funded by a network of these 501c3 NGOs, which include, donor money from people like Soros, other, liberal donors, but also they receive government money. So it's all blended in. They like to blend their flows of money in, money from liberal donors plus government money. And Data Republican, which is doing great work on Twitter, putting information out, has a whole chart showing the fund flows from organization to organization. It's like a shell game, so that you can't really, people say, well, we received no government money. Well, hold on a second. When we follow the money, this group back here got government money, which gave to this group, which also got government money, and put some, private money in with it to blend it in. And then suddenly another group gets a grant from that group that got government money. And then this group here provides all the funding on the protest. Most of the time it happens that way, but a lot of times it also is directly organized. The protests are directly organized by a group getting government funding. Here's another one. Substack opened the books. California pumped tens of millions into immigration NGOs that fight deportation, track ICE, and more. These groups also are involved with organizing the protests. And one of the groups that we've been highlighting is this group, Churla, which got $45 million and runs an anti-ICE hotline, and more importantly, organized the protests in Los Angeles, saying no justice, no peace. Then they said in the media, no, these were all peaceful protests. I'm sorry, but you led a chant that said no justice, no peace. Which is it? Again, these people are just felonious liars. All they do is lie straight to the camera And you got them on video. You got the funding streams. We don't use government money for protests. That's done with private money. We're over here running a hotline with government money. Oh, wait a minute. The hotline tells people where the ICE agents are. Oops. Again, this is a money laundering scheme with your taxpayer money behind it. So recognize that we are going to continue to monitor the groups that are behind these protests. We have researchers, I call them researchers, out to monitor what's going on in these protests throughout Southern California and throughout the state of California. If you are seeing something in your area, please shoot us an email, send us a tip. We will follow up on everything we receive. We get really good information from the public. You are our radar system as to what you're seeing in your community, any groups that you're seeing out there, any social media platforms that are promoting these protests, particularly if they're organized, if they're associated with a group, please let us know so that we can go and research who's funding the group behind that social media platform. So this weekend, please be safe, be aware, go to that website, find out where all of the protests are. And if you're planning your day, try to navigate around this. It's not worth putting your life in jeopardy. Let's buckle up. Let's be safe this weekend. Of course, I will be on the road doing our rallies on voter ID because that's my job. And we have to fight to take back this state. And with your help, we will do just that. Go to the website reformcalifornia.org, reformcalifornia.org, and join in. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. But before you click away, please subscribe to this channel and click that notification button so you get updated when we post new episodes. Plus, like this video and share it with your friends so that we can help spread our message across the state. Reform California with Carl DeMaio is paid for by Carl DeMaio for State Assembly.